Today on Wild Florida, monkeys, monkeys, and more monkeys. You can find them in Florida zoos. You can find them in Florida animal sanctuaries. You can even find them running wild throughout the Sunshine State. But today, we learn that there's truth in the old saying, you can take the animal out of the wild, but you can't take the wild out of the animal. I'm Hunter Reno, and this is Wild Florida. Think of Florida wildlife, and you may think of alligators, pelicans, or panthers. But monkeys? Sure, they're not native to Florida, but what's that mean anyway? They've certainly been here longer than most Floridians, and they're a major attraction at zoos and animal parks all over the state. In fact, at one park in Miami, they're the absolute center of attention. We're here at Monkey Jungle, one of the oldest animal attractions in South Florida. Its slogan, where the humans are caged and the monkeys run wild. Today I'm meeting with Kaylin Chandler, a veterinary technician at Monkey Jungle. Hey Kaylin, I'm Hunter.
Hi Hunter, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. What kind of monkey is that?
That's a Java macaque or a crab-eating macaque, and they come from Southeast Asia.
Now, are these little tins found throughout the park?
Yes, they are. Any place where you see a cup or a tube to the exhibit, then you can feed the animals here at Monkey Jungle.
Well, let's go feed some other ones.
All right.
Monkey Jungle has been open in Miami since the 1930s. It started with just 6 Java macaques, which were released into the dense woodlands here as a kind of experiment in animal behavior. But it began attracting visitors almost immediately. Now there are more than 350 primates here, monkeys and apes, along with some birds and reptiles. As animal attractions go, it's one of a kind.
Like right now you can see we're kind of in the cage, and then they're running free on 7 acres.
They seem to have gone.
There's a large male over here who's kind of keeping his eye on it, so these ones are afraid to come over and pull it up.
Okay, we'll give you your space. Kaylin and I continue with our tour, but I can't help wondering how long that peanut will sit there before one of the Java macaques works up the nerve to get it. I notice the monkeys are running all up and down above. It's like a highway. How do you keep the monkeys from kind of relieving themselves on people?
Well, unfortunately, you don't. We call that our good luck charm here at Monkey Jungle. It doesn't happen as often as you would think, but sometimes they do get excited, and it does happen.
So what's the big difference between monkeys and apes?
The easiest way to tell a monkey from an ape is that monkeys have tails and apes don't. And this is actually a perfect example of that. These are our white-handed gibbons, and you can see that they don't have tails. They're considered a lesser ape.
They look so cuddly. They look like little bears.
Yeah, you think, but don't let that fool you. One day I was doing some work around the cage with the gibbons here, and one of the females came up behind me and grabbed me by the ponytail, picked me up off of the ground to just my toes were touching, kind of shook my head a little bit against the cage, and then dropped me and went away like she was satisfied. So they're extremely strong.
Yikes! Well, now that I know monkeys have tails and apes don't, I know what to look for. These next guys are definitely monkeys. Wow!
And this is with 9 spider monkeys in this cage.
Look at that baby. Tell me a little bit about their tails. They are amazing.
They have fully prehensile tails, which means that basically they use it as a 5th leg. They can support their whole body weight by hanging down from the bars, as you can see there, just by using that tail.
They're magnificent. Monkey Jungle is full of monkeys in enclosures like these. But beyond these nicely manicured pathways is a wilder part of the park, one which few people ever get to see.
And this is the secret back entrance. This is for employees only.
But you're allowing me in today.
Yes, yes. This is a special tour. And the only really rule that we have is that the monkeys can jump on you, but we never reach out and touch the animals.
Okay.
Let's head in.
Our own private tour. The 5-acre rainforest we're about to enter has helped make Monkey Jungle more than just an animal amusement park. Here, students and researchers can study the natural behavior of the monkeys that run free in this living research laboratory. Right now, Kaylin is calling the monkeys. You really do feel like you're in a rainforest here. It's peaceful here.
But I have the feeling we're being watched. And apparently, I'm right.
We went from no monkeys to lots of monkeys.
Yep.
Amazing.
They certainly know.
And what are these?
These are squirrel monkeys.
Look at them. Okay.
Right there's a female.
Ooh, hello.
Was a female.
Yeah.
Yep, the one with dark black hair on your arm, that's a female.
Look at them. Woo! Now remember the rules. You can touch, no, they can touch you, but don't touch them. Hello? Hello? Oh, yes. Help yourself. They kind of tickle. Oh, hello. Help yourself. Oh, don't be greedy. Oh, so the females are very assertive, I would say.
Yes, they are. Right now is the breeding season, so they tend to be a lot friskier.
Yeah. One at a time, girls. One at a time. Hello. Hello. Once the monkeys realized that I and the camera crew had run out of raisins, they momentarily began to disperse, which left Kaylin and I free to pursue another primate, arguably the most intelligent to be found in these woods. The name? Dr. Shawn Evans. She's a research scientist who studies the animals here, including the squirrel monkeys, which seem to be multiplying again before our very eyes.
They breed more successfully here than any other place outside of their native Peru. Oh, look, we have a fatted male behind us, right down there. Do you see him? A nice big guy. What happens is that at this time of the year in Miami, the males become enormously fat, or at least their upper torso does, probably as a result of a hormonal surge.
Like this guy here.
Like this one as well, yes. And they become very obnoxious to humans because they squawk all the time, they fight all the time, and they're just after the girls. So that's what we know a lot about here at Monkey Jungle is mating and babies.
There's one more place I'm eager to visit here at Monkey Jungle.
Now, Hunter, here at the Wild Monkey Swimming Pool, we're going to see some of our Java macaques that we saw earlier today swimming in the water.
Really? They swim?
Yes, monkeys swim. We're going to try and throw in some treats. Got some eggs for them.
Oh, fantastic.
And see if maybe we can get some of them to swim underwater. We have to be careful though, because these huge pacu down here will also eat the eggs.
Oh, really?
So if they get to the eggs first, then the monkeys are out of luck. So let's see if he's willing to come down and swim.
Now, did you know when you brought the pacu in here that they would actually be eating the eggs competitively against the monkeys?
Yes and no, but I guess didn't realize that it was going to be such a large competition between the monkeys, because that really is our, our presentation here at this area. We like the public to see the monkeys swim.
Yeah.
But sometimes, there he goes.
Well done, Cliff.
All right.
Well, Kaylin, for our first trip to Monkey Jungle, this was really out of this world.
Good.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Hey, keep an eye on those gibbons.
I will.
See you later.
Bye.
Did you know that there are 4 types of primates? Humans, apes, monkeys, and something called prosimians. That category includes lemurs like this guy and 2 groups of wide-eyed nocturnal primates called lorises and tarsiers. You can rest assured that at most zoos or animal parks in Florida, you will see monkeys. But if you're a little adventurous and have a lot of patience, you may not need the zoo. If you know where to look, you may be able to spot a monkey in the wild.
There are many instances of monkeys running wild in Florida because of its climate, because of the environment that it provides, can sustain these animals should they escape and get into the wild.
And so we take a short trip from Miami to Dania Beach, where we quickly learn that monkeys in the wild are, well, wild monkeys. They live on their own schedule and they answer to no one. Much like this pair of spunky sisters, Frida Gallagher and Helen Notar. Every once in a while, they drive to this Motel 6 in Dania Beach, pull into the rear parking lot, and just hang out.
I park illegally all the time right there. You know, I think they think I'm nuts anyway.
To be honest, if you didn't know what these ladies were doing, you really might think they're a little nutty. Or maybe fruity is a better word for it.
No, not that. That's too close. That's too close.
But they're here by this motel dumpster with a purpose, to get back to nature, sort of.
Well, what we first do is put the fruit out, and then we go sit in the car and wait for their appearance.
Whose appearance, you ask? The Chlorocebus aethiops, also known as the vervet monkey. They've reportedly been running wild through Dania Beach for decades, and apparently this hotel is a great place to spot one if you know what to look for.
Moving branches, I think, is what we look for mostly.
I thought I saw some movement down over there by the second post.
Where did these as yet unseen monkeys come from? If anybody knew, it would probably be Skip Truby, an investigator with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, or FWC.
It's been so long that they've been here, and we have no record of it officially. But I've heard a variety of stories that they escaped from an airport shipment, that they were turned loose by someone who had them as pets. Who can tell?
That looks more like a rat than a squirrel.
No, it's a squirrel.
Well, I saw his bushy tail.
Yeah. What'd he do? He took that apple. That one took that apple and is not going to let the rest of them get any. Oh, well.
Skip says at one time there may have been as many as 300 vervets running wild here in Dania Beach. But lately, the monkeys' numbers have diminished to perhaps as few as 20.
I guess it's safe to say that a few have been trapped because of the rumors that I've heard. Automobile accidents with the monkeys accounts for a few that we know about. But most likely it's habitat destruction like we find with most of our indigenous animals.
Whatever the explanation, the monkeys' diminishing numbers mean that Frida and Helen may have a harder time spying one of the creatures. A monkey, that is.
Oh, look at that. Look at that big fatty.
Oh, yes. That big fat raccoon over there is going to... See, I'm surprised that big fat raccoon is not coming after the
food.
The food.
If I had a BB gun and if a raccoon came up to get that mango.
Oh, please. Give me a break.
If the squabbling sisters don't catch a glimpse of a vervet, it would be the first time in the more than 5 years they've been coming here.
Tell me something funny so I can laugh. Get this sad look off my face because I can't see my monkeys.
This is the first time that we have sat here this long and have not seen a monkey.
So why would these sisters spend so much time sitting and waiting when they could just as easily go to the zoo to see monkeys?
Because these are
Wild.
and they play different.
Of course, the Motel 6 didn't sign up to become an impromptu feeding station for wild monkeys, but the staff there doesn't seem to mind the presence of these uninvited guests.
Well, at Motel 6 we're pet friendly and we love animals, so we love the fact that we have monkeys living in the woods adjacent to our location, and it adds a lot of character and uniqueness to this location in Dania Beach.
After 3 hours, there's still no sign of the vervets, and Helen's patience is finally beginning to wear thin.
I'm not staying all night.
I'm not leaving here until I see one.
You get a cell phone, call me, I'll come and get you.
So, are the sisters finally admitting defeat?
No, not me, because I know that they're... Now listen, there was a monkey.
Yes.
That was a monkey.
A monkey we heard, but never saw. So we'll have to take her word for it. But now it's time for a fun fact with an actual monkey in it. The pygmy marmoset is the world's smallest monkey. This cute fellow can be found at the Rare Species Conservatory Foundation in Loxahatchee, Florida. Our next attempt to see monkeys in the wild, this time in Ocala, was no more successful. Our crew spent 2 days paddling up and down a river there, hoping to spy one, just one of the hundreds of macaques that supposedly live there.
We've been told he's here somewhere.
Long story short, sore shoulders, no monkeys. As it turns out, our chances of spying a wild monkey were better back down south, this time in Fort Lauderdale. As you might expect, Fort Lauderdale Beach boasts a bevy of bars and restaurants and a host of hotels and high-rise condos. Pretty typical beach development. But in the midst of all that, wedged between the beach road and the intercoastal waterway, is 35 acres of old Florida wilderness. These precious acres were preserved as part of the Bonnet House estate, a historic home built in the 1920s by an artist with an eye for the whimsical. Here, Frederick Bartlett vacationed each winter with his family and pets. At the estate, you'll see odd and enchanting artwork, stately trees, and something else. Here in this fantastic canopy of trees lives a family of squirrel monkeys.
With the way the trees are packed on this property, they can just move from place to place much faster. Also, they'll peel back the bark and eat some of the bugs that are in the bark. They'll also eat the bugs in the palm fronds. We have a great variety of plants here where they can also get plenty of food. And then every so often you'll see them eat a nice juicy lizard, a little bit of protein.
Unfortunately, though, these guys can't resist a free handout, and with a slew of bars and restaurants so close.
We'd see people up at the fence feeding them by hand. We'd hear that, oh, I've been coming down here for years and I always give the monkeys beer when I'm down on Fort Lauderdale Beach. You know, when you get the teenagers that come in now that they're adults.
And worse, several monkeys were lured off the property, presumably to be sold as pets. So staff at the Bonnet House decided to keep the monkeys a little closer to home by offering them a healthier alternative to beer.
What we try to do is supplement their food just so that we can keep them in the vicinity of the house area and try to just maintain their balanced diet and hopefully keep them in the wild.
So you may be wondering how these monkeys, which are native to South America, got here in the first place. Turns out there's a bit of a scandal there. The original band of squirrel monkeys came from a local bar where they were kept in a cage as entertainment a half-century ago. The official story was it that they had escaped, but rumor has it that they were intentionally released, and Linda Schaller thinks she knows why.
When the monkeys get angry, when they get really scared, the male monkey will urinate. And it kind of goes all over, up and over and around and through. So I can't imagine that they would have been really great for bar business, and I can't imagine that they'd be really great in your living room as a pet.
Linda's right. In fact, monkeys make terrible pets. How can we say such a thing? Because after we left Fort Lauderdale, we headed to Gainesville to the Jungle Friends Primate Sanctuary. Carrie Bagnall runs Jungle Friends.
That's for Murphy, Cody. You have yours. That's a good boy. Buddy, you already had yours. You want a peanut? There you go. What we do is rescue abused, neglected, or monkeys that are no longer wanted, and we rehabilitate them, get them well if they come in with illnesses. Most of them have never seen another monkey, so we socialize them with their own species so that they can do monkey things. Come on, good boy, good boy, good boy. Come on, come on.
Many of the 76 monkeys living here were former pets, but as their owners eventually found out, an adult monkey can be dangerously unpredictable. Ron McGill has been trying to get that across to the public for years.
Generally speaking, almost all animals, primates included, when they're babies or infants, can be handled and tend to be very cute and cuddly, but as they reach their maturity, these animals become very dangerous. There's an old saying that says you can take an animal out of the wild, but you cannot take the wild out of the animal. It's especially true with primates.
As the former owner of two white-faced capuchins, Carrie agrees.
Just a little 8-pound monkey can rip you. I mean, I can show you my stitches and scars from them. You know, they are just very, very dangerous.
Former pet monkey owner Sharon Cameron knows that all too well. She had the resources to give her 3 brown capuchins everything she thought they could want in captivity: huge enclosures, access to the outdoors, companionship. But Sarah, the oldest, eventually revolted.
I thought if I raised them right, they wouldn't attack, but I was wrong. I got in to tell Sarah goodnight one night when she was 3, and she shredded my hands. Just with no warning, no reason, nothing. And my hands hurt terribly, but my heart was just broken. Open it up, get your cornbread. Sarah's smart, she'll open it. They were so much like children. You know, you diaper them, you give them bottles, you feed them, you give them toys, you play with them. And then when this happens and they can't be with you anymore, it's like you gave away a child.
Here's another one.
Sharon lives close enough to the sanctuary to be able to visit her monkeys once a week. She also helps financially support them, and she regularly brings treats for the entire monkey community. But not all pet owners are as committed.
It's okay. Don't be so jumpy. Look, there. For most, it's out of sight, out of mind. I just want the monkey gone. The monkey attacked my child or my neighbor or, me. I want the monkey gone. So they don't really care.
That's part of the reason it's so difficult for this nonprofit organization to get enough funding to build new enclosures, and one of the reasons they rely so heavily on volunteers and sometimes have to turn needy monkeys away.
We live in a culture where it's perfectly acceptable to drop your dog off at the pound if he pooped too many times on the floor. So, we come from a culture that just puts animals to death. They're too problematic.
Is that good, sweetie? You got a biscuit?
Owning a pet monkey can obviously be dangerous, but being a pet monkey is no less fraught with danger. Poor diet, lack of sunshine and exercise, extreme solitude, and that's just the beginning. Some pet owners resort to drastic measures to keep their monkeys under control, removing fingernails, teeth, even tails, since a tailless monkey is easier to diaper.
This is Chi-Chi. Hi, Chi-Chi. Hi, sweetheart. She's the old circus gal. Hi, sweetie. You're a good girl. She's one of the monkeys that likes to hang on to people, so we let her do that. She was alone for so long. And here comes Jimmy to get you. Hey, Jimmy. Hi, sweetie. And Jimmy Sr., he was an organ grinder monkey for the first 20 years of his life on the streets of New York. And if you notice his fingers, he's had several of his fingers amputated, and they told us it was so he couldn't pick his lock.
Many of the monkeys here, even those that were supposedly well cared for, arrive malnourished. So along with their daily medications, the monkeys are fed a diet any vegetarian could love.
After they get fed, then we eat whatever's left over.
Though good food can help the monkeys overcome malnutrition, it's harder work to help them overcome their psychological problems. Before she began working with monkeys, Carrie worked with abused and neglected children. She recognizes many of the same signs of neglect in these monkeys.
Typically, people buy them and put them in bird cages. They can't jump, they can't play, they can't interact with any monkeys. And then they start biting their owners. Now, they don't want to have anything to do with them, so here they sit and they go mad. They literally go crazy, and that's why they start biting themselves and mutilating themselves. Okay, we're gonna go now.
But no matter how disturbed they are when they arrive, most of the monkeys that come here ultimately recover and achieve what Carrie calls the play state.
Everyone should play every day. Whether you're a monkey or a human or an ape, everyone should play. And that's when we know we've done our job, is when we see a big play face, which is on a monkey, and it's usually their tongue is out and they're doing this, and then we know we've reached the play state.
You have to admit, it's in that play state that these goofy, grabby guys are most irresistible to us. Unfortunately, when we choose to isolate them as pets, we effectively erase what we love most about them, their wild and playful nature. Luckily, we can still interact with a multitude of monkeys at Florida's animal parks and zoos, and we can always hope to catch a glimpse of them in the wild, even if the wild is really just the parking lot of a Florida motel.
This program continues on the Wild Florida website at wildflorida.tv. Wild Florida is available on DVD for $19.95 plus $3.95 for shipping and handling. To order your copy, please call 1-800-533-8321.
If I had known this, I think you should have had a makeup artist here. Should be brushing us with powders and doing our lipstick and so on.
Wow, look at you. Hey, that's being kind of piggy, don't you think?
Are we going to
wrap it up?
Wrap it up?
Okay.
Well, guess what? I'm not wrapping it up. I'm going to stay here until I see a monkey.
Well, lots of luck.